Okay, this will be part 3. I don't want to make these too long, but I kind of already did that. But let's just continue on. Alright, Swordmaster. This game's made by Athena and published by Activision. This is a pretty interesting sword slashing game. The graphics are amazing for an NES title. I mean, colors are vibrant, but it's a bit stiff on the control front. And you can get like different characters to join you later on, and like the first guy I think is an old mage. He's not all that cool though. I pretty much just like this guy. You fight these little mid bosses, if you want to call them that. I just call them waste of time. There, and you just continue on. And you don't turn around. You're always facing right, and that's just, I find that to be strange. You can block by holding the up button. So, you know, it's pretty standard stuff. It's hella difficult, though. Especially later on, you go to a boss rush, and that's the level I can't get past. So, basically, yeah, that's Swordmaster. I mean, if it looks like something you're interested in, give it a try. I think it's worth it. It's real difficult, but, you know, that's to be had on an NES. Alright, we don't need to play Power Blade because you see me do a playthrough of that. But if you want to see Power Blade 2, I'll show you how to look for a minute. This game didn't do as well as the first game, but it's still a fun experience. I mean, it still has the core gameplay that the first one had. It's just a little bit more difficult because now, like, checkpoints are almost non-existent. I mean, there's like one checkpoint and you have to be like far in the stage in order to achieve it, so you know, it makes it for a harder experience. But other than that, it's still Power Blade, so if you love the gameplay of the first game, you can't go wrong with this one either. Which I don't understand why it didn't do well. I think, well, 1992, the SNES was out. This probably would have made for a better SNES release. Call it Super. You know, just like they used to do that back in the day. Super this and Super that, and blah 64 and this 64, you know. It's a really cheap marketing ploy, but it works. So yeah, that's Power Blade. It's a good Power Blade 2. It's fairly tough though. I've gotten to the 4th stage and I have the password written down. I may pick it up again and complete it. It's difficult. Alright. Flintstones. Yes, they're the Flintstones. No Granddad here. Granddad! Flintstone! It's a meme made by Joel from Vinesauce. But yeah, it's the American version. So if you like Flintstone games, which are ridiculously expensive, may I add, guess what? You can play them here and be like, haha, you want to spend your $1,000 on this and Dinosaur Peak? Well, guess what? I paid $15 for this cartridge that has it on it, so suck my dick, asshole. I mean, it's Flintstones. I know I die because I'm not really trying. But yeah, but these games are actually kind of difficult, though. I've beaten that one. I haven't beaten Dinosaur Peak yet, though, but I'll go ahead and show that off. Yep, American version. Yay! So yeah, here's a game that costs so much money. And the reason is it's once again a late Taito release. It's because most late released NES games are hard to find. And most of them were released exclusively by Taito. Yeah, well, so yeah, as you can see, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just... It's Flintstones. I mean, there's not much to say. Pretty good game. The first one was. I really liked it, and I heard the Rescue Dinosaur Peak or whatever is actually very similar, so I'll have to play those eventually. Mitsume ga Toru. I've beaten this on the Wii on a translated ROM. It's actually it's kind of plainish, but it's fun. It's, you know, one of those games that you have to play like when you're just bored as shit and you have nothing better to do. Like, because seriously, I mean, it's a game that's just plain, but it's just interesting enough that you want to play through to the end. But you'll have to, like, if you have nothing else to play and you don't know what to play, it's probably the perfect time to play this. Because this is one of those chill games, because there's hardly any challenge to this at all. Except for the final boss, but that's, you know, far away from where you are currently, like in the beginning of the game. I mean, the game's not too long, but it's long enough to take up an afternoon. It kind of looks like Tien from Dragon Ball, you know? Yeah, you just get money, and you run into this stupid bitch with a flag in her hand, and she's like, "Oh, you want to buy stuff?" And then she thanks you and shit. You know, I mean, and it gives you icons of what it is you're buying, so you know exactly what you're buying. Even with the Japanese language barrier problem, you can still play this. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. It's kind of like Mega Man in a way. It even has a little bit of a, you know, a gimmick here where you can make your own platform. And you have to learn it. You can use it as a weapon, too, so you can use it as a platform. But you can also use it as a weapon. I know that spider just gets bigger and bigger, because he explodes into gold coins. You ever seen a cellar spider like have a full belly of blood from an insect? It's horrifying looking. I think cellar spiders are the scariest looking spiders out there, even though no, I do respect the spiders. I think they're pretty cool once you learn about them. They're actually fascinating. And they're not all bad. You just gotta be careful on which ones. Nah, this is the stupid bitch I was telling you about. Like I see, you get a wave attack, a sonic attack. See, so you know what you're buying. You can buy yourself an extra life if you have the gold. Or you can exit, and she does the Japanese bow, thanking you for your business, even if you don't buy from her. She's very polite, but she can go fuck off, because I got a job to do. So that's that game. Mitsu, Toy, whatever the fuck. Anyways. Okay. I mean, I really don't need to explain what this is. It's obviously the American version because, well, it's called The Adventures of Bayou Billy and not Mad City.
The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Remember that advice for life. You gotta admit, Annabelle's got some big titties. Even though it's a game chick, but still, she's got big titties. I mean, this is Crocodile Dundee video game edition. I mean, it's too obvious. I mean, this dude's obviously Paul Hogan, and Isabel's that blonde bitch. I can't even think of her name. To show how much I give a shit. This, now you may think that this game is not anything special, but this is one of those games I loved from my youth because it had different gameplay styles in it. I mean, first you're, you know, beating ass, which is, of course, lame as shit nowadays. But you had that, and then you had shooting, and then you had driving. So you had, like, you know, total of 3 different game types in one game. And to me, that was fascinating. But yeah, this is Adventures of Bayou Billy. It's called Mad City in Japan. I kind of would prefer the Japanese version because it's a lot easier, but whatever. Moving on. Oh Christ. Nah. Terminator 2. LGN's fine. Granted, this is probably the best home version of this game, but it's still garbage. You basically just beat ass, and then you find these little, I think, object pieces, and then you gotta beat the boss, who takes 1,000,000 hits to beat. And they use this Commodore 64 sounding music. Yeah, you know, they give you instructions, which is nice. But it's nothing spectacular. It's, you know, if you're interested in movie-based games, or game-based, whatever, play it. But that is a masterpiece compared to the game next on the list. This game should be burned. I mean, people say Shaq Fu's a bad game. I'd rather play that piece of shit than this any day of the week. I mean, Shaq Fu is garbage, but this is equivalent to rat-covered shit, or like rats all over dog shit, you know, along with flies. I mean, listen to this music, or I keep forgetting you can't. But it's just, it's seriously, it's like 3 different notes, and that's it, and that's all you hear. And the action is so mundane, it's awful, and the collision detection when you're jumping on shit is just finicky as all hell. Sometimes you'll just fall right through. I mean, you who've watched AVGN probably know about this game already. This game is so awful. I have seen people beat it, though. That's the truth. And I don't understand what goes through your head to the point where you feel that you must complete this game. It's garbage. I mean, and this is like a 1991 game. There were so many better NES games at that point that this is... I wonder how much this game sold for. Or sold, like, sales-wise. If anyone can link me that, I would like to see it, just for a laugh or two. This game is so awful. So why am I playing it? Well, this to show you what you're getting if you buy this cartridge. And unfortunately, this cancer is on it. See, I didn't even know you could jump on that thing. I thought it was part of the background. I just want to see how far I can probably get before I die, but I don't want this to go on too long because I'm already Okay, I died. Good. Let's never mention this game again. I'd rather smear my face up a girl's ass after she got done shit without wiping. I'm serious. I would rather much do that than play that. Now, I don't need to explain this game. It's a fucking masterpiece, and if you haven't played this game, get off your fucking ass and get on an emulator or an NES or this cartridge and put it in and play. This game is fan-fucking-tastic. What the hell? Is this like a beta or something? Okay, I don't know if my cartridge is like this. Nah. And the music is fast, so that's kind of a bummer. I don't know if mine does that. I'll have to report back on that at some point. Anyways, if you don't play it on that cartridge, play Blaster Master another way. Play it on your phone using an emulator. I don't give a shit. Okay, Captain Tsubasa is, or Tsubasa, whatever. I think the T is silent. Basically is a soccer game by Tecmo that plays like an anime. I don't want to deal with it because I don't like it. I think it's awful. Speaking of awful games, well, that's not fair. This game is actually an acquired taste. I like this game. It has music by Tim Follin. I don't know if his brother Geoff helped him with it, but This is a unforgiving as hell game. But if you have a turbo controller, or a turbo yeah, it's just as bad as you've heard it to be. But I like this game. It just has a certain charm to it. But there's a ROM hack that actually makes a turbo function that works, or if you use a turbo controller, that works all the same. I mean, this music is just, it's banging, man. You jam this shit. And I do have the NSF, so I do jam this shit often. It's good music. Tim Follin makes some great music in his games, but too bad the games he did them for him weren't, well, considered classics. They were just there. It's a shooter, though, and it's really unforgiving. Your hitbox is huge, and you're likely to die a lot. But with enough practice, you'll do what I did and beat this game. And will I ever do a playthrough of this? Hell no, because I told myself I will never play that game again after I completed it. And sure enough, after I beat that game, or this game, I swore to never play it again. I just did it for the sake of this review. Guerrilla War is an excellent... Oh, it's a Japanese version. Fuck. It's an excellent game. It's a game based off fucking Fidel Castro's freeing of Cuba. Think of a better version of Commando. That's this game in a nutshell. See, I have the cartridge of this that was given to me by a friend back in the day. So a lot of my friends were so much of tech whores that they were like, oh, this game's outdated, fuck you. You know, and instead of selling it, they just went and gave it to me. Because they knew I would play it and love it. And that's how I scored a lot of my games back in the day. I'm killing a lot of POWs, because fuck this. They got themselves caught, so they don't deserve life, they deserve death. Fuck them. You shouldn't have got yourself captured, you fucking waste of space. Fuck you, you deserve death. I want fucking a bunch of commandos that are worth a fuck, not some pieces of shit that get captured. Well done, sir! Anyways, that's Guerrilla War. Good game, you should play it. Get a friend to play with you. It's 2-player simultaneous. Yeah. It's much better than fucking Car Wars. Summer Carnival 92 Rekka. This is an excellent game that probably shows off some of the best NES... I mean, to see the NES actually pull this off is something of amazement. I mean, you have so much shit going on, and there's barely any flicker or slowdown. I mean, to me, this car is worth just this alone, because this is an excellent game. The music is an acquired taste, though. I mean, I'm not too much of a big fan of this kind of music on video game music, but it's okay. I mean, it's not like ear-piercing, it's just not my thing. Yeah, so you just get raped from every orifice on your ship, or that your ship has. It's like, yeah, oh, you have an orifice? Here, take it! But yeah, as you can see, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun to play. It's worth your time. It's very short, and the ending is mundane. I mean, there's really nothing to it. It's just like, congratulations, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing there, but... And you have some of these really out of this world bosses. I mean, look at this motherfucker. He's huge. Wow. I wasn't playing to be perfect anyways. But yeah, that's Rekka. It's an awesome shooter. Well worth your time, and I suggest you check it out. I mean, I can't see why you wouldn't want to. It's that good. Just to see the NES pull something like that off is just amazing. Right, moving on to the next one. Darkwing Duck. This is a Capcom game released in '92 of the cartoon. It's a really good looking game, and any fans of this series will enjoy this. However, if you ever played the TurboGrafx-16 version, that'll make you hate life. That version is awful, and I don't know who actually made it. I don't think it was NEC, and if it was Disney, they should be ashamed of themselves. Thankfully, we got this version. Unfortunately, it's either fortunate or unfortunately. Take it as you will. It's pretty much just, it's Mega Man, more or less. And that's not a bad thing. Mega Man has good gameplay, so... I mean, it's just Mega Man with a duck. But it's a good version, and it's a damn good game. Well worth your time, and I'm sucking dick at this game, because, well... I'm not really playing it just to play, I'm playing it to show it off. Yeah, Darkwing Duck was a real fun series to watch, and now I don't know if this game was official. No, it's not. It's Super Game. Super Game makes bootlegs. So this is a bootleg on this cartridge. I don't think this is the one that has the creepy game over screams, does it? Hold on, I'm gonna kill myself. No, that'd be Lion King. Never mind, that was Lion King 6, so it's not this. But yeah, I noticed that Super Game logo. They did Shinobi 3 on the NES, believe it or not, but the ending was garbage. It was just... the game resets. Okay, the controls are real sloppy, and the control mechanic doesn't work really well, all that well. So I'd say avoid this. And come on, there's hardly any bootlegs out there that are well worth the time anyway. Twinbee. Twinbee's pretty good. The first Twinbee we didn't get, but the second Twinbee we did, and it was called Stinger. It's hard to describe this game. It's very unique. It's got a, it's got a catchy soundtrack. It has a bell power-up system that you hit the bells a certain amount of times, you get certain power-ups, and you destroy enemies. Now, this game is overhead, but the second game has both overhead and side-scroll stages. So when you bomb certain things, you get items and shit for score. Very simple and fun game. I've beaten this. It's worth your time if you like shooters. And it's Konami, back when they actually gave a fuck about gamers. We don't see that anymore. I mean, aren't you all looking forward to that Metal Gear Survive? This is what I think about that. I don't like Metal Gear anyway, but still. I mean, that's just a piss-poor attempt to cash in on the fans of the series. You guys deserve more than that. Okay, this is... I don't think this is Stinger. Yeah, this is Stinger. But it's done... The setup is weird. It's a Japanese version, obviously, because it's Twinbee 2. I used to have Stinger, and then my dumbass sold it because I wanted another game, and that game was Space Football. Yeah, that game was awful. I'll never speak of it again. I have completed this game, too. I actually played the American version on my Wii emulator and beaten it. This game's pretty good. I like it. Got catchy music and neat enemy designs, and the bosses are based off fruit, if memory serves me. Still got the bell power-up system, which I think is kind of confusing, but it's doable. It's there. Yeah, so that's, yeah. I could sit there and play that for hours. Or not hours. That game only takes like 45 minutes to beat. Or less, depending on the kind of gamer you are. Captain America: The Avengers on the NES. This was during the time when they couldn't do the beat 'em up, so instead of doing the beat 'em up, they came up with their own side-scroll adventure. This one's a little hard to recommend. That's the American version, thank God. Okay. I don't know if this game was released on Japanese or whatever. You have a map that's similar to Bionic Commando, and you go through these little side-scroll stages. I mean, it seems like a nice little side-scroll diversion game. But the problem is there's some parts where something happens, and you have to backtrack, and you have to go through the levels again to get whatever it is that you need to. Like, say if Hulk gets captured, you gotta go... It ruins the experience. It's hard to put in words, but... I mean, if you think you can get used to that... And of course you gotta find the key to go to the exit too, forgot to mention that part. I mean, if this looks like something you'd enjoy, which, I mean, I can't say it's a bad game, but just the fact that you have to backtrack is horribly annoying, and it kind of ruins it for me, at least. So yeah, that's that. Okay. Okay, we're going on the hundreds now. Okay, this is a pretty damn good game. This is Monsters in My Pocket, made by Konami, as always, and it's owned by I think Morrison Entertainment, or Morrison Company was the one that made the Monsters in My Pocket. If you remember these, they were like these little figurines, I think, or they were cards or something. It was a long time ago. I don't remember them. My brother was pretty much into Monsters in My Pocket and a few other things. Muscleman he liked too, or Kinnikuman. Now this game is stupid easy. But it has, like, you know, that Chip and Dale feel where you're big and... or you're small and you're in big environments. You don't need that key for anything, you can just use it to attack enemies. It's got a classic Konami soundtrack to it. Good stuff. Good two-player action. There's nothing that's different other than aesthetics with Dracula and Frankenstein. They both, you know, they just look different. There's nothing different that they do in terms of whatchamacallit, abilities. So yeah, this is Monster in My Pocket. Pretty awesome game. Definitely recommend it. It's very short too, so you'll beat it like within half hour, 20 minutes if you're good. And if you're really good at games, maybe even beyond, maybe even shorter than that. And we're gonna start going this way. Alright, we got Samurai Pizza Cats. Unfortunately, not the translated ROM. But if you ever watch the show, this is a pretty good game. It's really easy, though. I mean, it's almost impossible not to go through without running into too much trouble. There's really not much of a difficulty. You just, you know, side scroll, and you can use their different abilities with the different cats and such. And I wish this... Okay, it is skippable. You just gotta press select. Okay. But yeah, this is made by Tecmo, and you can tell by... I mean, come on, it looks kind of has a Ninja Gaiden look to it a little bit. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Samurai Pizza Cats. I thought it was kind of a weird concept. But the game is good. I mean, the game is it's fun, as you can see. You know, and you can pick different enemies, or the different cats in the series and use their abilities. I don't know their names because I haven't seen the series since 1995. I watched the horrible American dubbed version, and if you watch anime American dubbed, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should go ahead and chew on some Tide Pods, or maybe drink a cup of bleach, because that's not how you watch anime. You watch it in its original format with American subtitles, or English subtitles. Because American is so goddamn cheesy, it makes me want to pull out my ears. My eardrums. Okay, so we got that. And we got this weird... this is basically, I don't know what to call this. It's Super Deformed Gundam. But didn't I see Mega... oh, yeah, there's Ultraman in there. Since when is Ultraman part of fucking Gundam? And is that Kamen Rider right here? And it's Japanese, so you just gotta mash buttons and hope to Christ you can start the game. I mean, it's so... This game is unforgiving as hell, and come on, the enemy has a fucking projectile shot thingamajig, and you have shit. Ultra Fag to the rescue! Ultraman sucks. As you can tell, this game is pretty difficult. The attack patterns of the enemies are unforgiving as hell. I can't recommend this game. So we're gonna go play something better. If you're a fan of that game, I'm happy for you, but honestly, that game sucks in my opinion. Okay. I think the next is... Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's here. But you gotta be honest, at least it's not the shitty-ass first game. The Ghostbusters! That game is awful. Music's all over the place. Yeah, the control in this game is really awkward. Like, you gotta hold certain directions for it to go up the direction you want it. It just feels off. You have to play to understand. Like, you gotta roll your thumb in the direction in order for... Kind of like a Hadouken to get to where you want to go. It's weird. It's like the game should have came with a dial control. I mean, I can't really recommend this either to anybody unless they really are big fans of Ghostbusters and don't mind the mundane tasks and broken-ass control. And there's a driving stage on the second stage of the game is driving. It's awful. It controls like shit, and you will die constantly. And I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore. This game can go fucking suck a dick. I just can't recommend it to anybody. I mean, if it's your thing, then, you know, by all means. Wacky Races. This is based off some Hanna-Barbera kind of shit. I don't really, I'm not too aware of it. I wish I was. You know, because it looks like it could be cool. I'll have to... Yeah, you play that dog that usually laughs in the Hanna-Barbera logos from back of the Cartoon Network days. Probably spark some nostalgia for you there. Yeah, it looks like a side-scroll game that's kind of fun. I might have to play through this. Because I love platformers. That's just kind of fun. It's got catchy music. I used to know the name of the dog and his owner. I know the owner looks like some kind of biker with spiky hair. I'm sorry I'm ignorant to the fact because it's been so long. You know, I don't watch cartoons like I used to. I mean, the only thing I'm familiar with is, you know, Thundercats and Silverhawks, because that was my shit. Those Rakin' Bass cartoons. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. I definitely recommend it. Wacky Races. I'll have to remember that next time I pop in that cartridge. Okay. Now, my cartridge version of this freezes. So, I don't know if this one will. It probably will, because if you look at the trademark, it says 2010. So this is an obvious hack or something has been updated to it. I can't tell you that the game is good, though. I mean, it plays... It has that RoboCop feel to it. But the cartridge freezes on the second stage. So, I mean, I don't know if this will freeze. I don't even really want to play because the game is just awful. I can't recommend it. But if you're a fan of this game, more power to you. But fuck off, it sucks. Okay, here's something interesting. Golf War. Alright, this is just a rename of a game called Silkworm, which is also known as the Swiv series. And the sequel for this was released on the Super Nintendo in America called under the name Firepower 2000. And the Genesis version was called Mega Swiv, which was not nearly as good as the SNES version. Believe it or not, the SNES version played nice and smooth, and it was no slowdown or very little flicker. I mean, that's when fucking Sun Software on top of their game, man. And it was after that the Looney Tunes era took over, and then they started to suck. I mean, you had like shitty games too, like Arrow the Acrobat and Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel and all that. I mean, but that was pretty much the end of Sunsoft right there, at that time period anyway. I think they were bankrupt. Oh yeah, you fight this little contraption, whatever you want to call that, and you get twin shot, and if you hit these things on the ground, you can either shoot them and it blows up enemies, see? Or you can get them and they become shields. I used to have this cartridge, but it was one of the cartridges I traded off for Chrono Trigger. Yeah, my brother and I did some trading with games. He took some of my NES games, and I got some of his titles, like Castlevania 3 and Chrono Trigger, and I forgot some, Super Street Fighter 2. But yeah, now if you kill that same contraption again, I mean, I don't even know what you call that. It's like a helicopter with a dick attached to it. Seriously, I don't know what the hell you call that. But if you end up killing this thing, and you don't die, you get the turbo function, and then you can just, you know, hold the button down and back. But anyways, that's Silkworm. It's better with two players, because one of you can play as a helicopter and the other one can play as a jeep, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of those games you can play all night long, because that's what we did. Saint Seiya is an RPG and it's awful. I'm just gonna bypass that. The anime's good. Watch the anime. Don't play the games. They're awful. This is a good game right here. This is Bucky O'Hare. It's pretty much Mega Man on steroids. It's really fast and furious. It's got good music. I mean, this is, once again, Konami when they give a shit about gamers. I mean, to me, their 8 and 16-bit offerings were their prime. They released everything good. I mean, some people are like, oh no, you had PlayStation with Metal Gear Solid and Symphony of the Night. Fuck off. Those games are... I mean, shit, if I want to play Symphony of the Night, let's play Super Metroid. It's just... I mean, it's just... it just feels the same to me, anyway. I don't really care for Symphony of the Night. I like the music, that's it, though. I mean, the game is just, man. Super Metroid with the sword. I know how much hate I'm gonna get for that. Ask me if I give a shit. It is, though. But yeah, you basically pick a planet, and you go through it. You can pick whatever order you want. You hold this button, and you basically have a jump power similar to Mario 2. You do that by holding the B button. Then you have your regular jump, and... you can, I think you can build that power gauge if memory serves me. But yeah, I call this Mega Man on steroids because it's fast-paced. I mean, the cartoon was okay. I watched the entire series. I mean, it's short. It's like 13 episodes or something like that. It didn't end as epic as you would want it, but it did the job. It was pretty good. But yeah, that was Bucky O'Hare. Awesome game. Pretty good cartoon series. I suggest play it. Give it a play. Okay, Panic Restaurant. This game's pretty good, actually. It's another late Taito release. You play as this old chef that has a competing chef fighting against you. And basically you go through stages named after menu types, like appetizers, soups, entrees, etc. And you use kitchen-based utensils as weapons, and you fight against food that's alive. Kind of like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but with more produce and poultry and protein and all sorts of other crazy shit. It's actually a pretty fun game. I've beaten this before. I remember posting the picture of the ending screen on Facebook, and I was praised, I guess, kind of, sort of, like, hey, you beaten the game, cool, awesome. And you went about their merry lives, because, I mean, who gives a shit? You beat a game. But yeah, this is, I mean, you get, you know, spoon and different weapons. You get plates you can throw, and of course, the usual bosses. I think this is the first boss I'm at already. It's been a while since I played. And if you get hit, you lose your shit. Anyways, that's Panic Restaurant. Let's just move on. I say it's worth your time. It really is. It's a fun game. Okay, we're at Punisher. Now, if you're familiar with my old channel, well, I need to check something here. Okay, I'll have to cut this part off in a minute. I'll show a couple more games and then I gotta move on to the next part. I'm gonna put this in parts. That way you can just skim through if you want, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, some of you are familiar with this game, and let me see if this is the stage. I think this is the stage. I made a video on funny things to do in retro games. This was one of them, and I'll show you why. Now, I like this game. I know it's silent and the gameplay is a little unpolished, but I think it's a fun game. You just go around shooting shit. And, you know, I used to thought it was funny you can shoot them in the dick. Like, aim at their dick and then just shoot them there. When I was a kid, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Now it's just, nah. But it's still fun. It's a fun game to play. It's a little difficult, though, but it's definitely a playable LGN game, which is hard to say, because a lot of their games are just awful. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the stage, because I don't want to ruin it. Yes, here we go. You lose tons of health for doing this, but see the guy playing the saxophone? Your music sucks, fuck you! That never gets old. So that's Punisher. It's an arcade-like shooter. Really fun game. Just it's a little silent. You know, you gotta kind of have your own soundtrack, but at the same time, it's definitely worth a play. Now this is known as Super Spy Hunter here in the West, but over in Japan, this game's called, I think, Highway Star. Because this is back when Sunsoft still had the license for Spy Hunter. On home systems, of course. Because Midway's like, yeah, here, you can still keep the license and stuff. Now, this game is balls to the walls, hard as shit. Thanks, Spy... I mean, it kind of has a lot to do with Spy Hunter, though. Because, no, it wasn't called Highway Star. That was, Highway Star was the name for Rad Racer. Shit, I'm trying to think of the name of the Japanese version of this. Shit! Like, it's like called Battle Racer. I can't think of it right now. I'm sorry. I know if I was on a stream, people could tell me, but I would just have a hell of a time concentrating on playing the game and talking to people, but, you know, maybe one day. Can't promise nothing, though. That may be in the cards. I just gotta get better at talking. But yeah, as you can see, it's very different from what you know of Spy Hunter. There's different routes you can take. There's you go on a boat, and you can also travel in the water. And make sure you're in the shallow parts, otherwise you'll die. You do all this while driving, and you can control that little thing that's on top of your car with the A button. I like to... It's not working. Why? There. I like to have it here. Give me some help. Yay! Now you have a swaying bridge. Now this is pretty intense in my opinion. I mean, this is when Sunsoft were just... They knew what they were doing. I mean, they were very creative with their game creators and all that. But yeah, that's Super Spy Hunter. Well worth your time. However, it is extremely hard, and you will die a lot, and you'll have to learn it if you're gonna see the ending screen. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end this part and start a new part and continue from there.